The following is a paid program sponsored by Get Elevated. Please be advised that the voices and opinions you hear do not necessarily represent the views of KUNV Las Vegas, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, or the Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education.
Please note that while we will cover a multitude of topics, including many alleged health benefits, all information provided should be considered anecdotal and informational. Please consult with your physician before adding cannabis to your medical regimen. Cannabis is for adults 21 years of age and older. Also, paid sponsorships are not to be misconstrued as preferred or favored by the host. In any way, they are merely that, paid sponsorships. Well, good morning and happy Saturday, Nevada and beyond. This is Gia of Get Elevated. Thank you so much for returning this happy Saturday morning. This is going to be one of our funniest and most intensely beautiful shows. I have with me Ray Fletcher, show engineer. Thank you.
No problem.
And very special local comedian here in Las Vegas, international comedian Jay Reed.
Thank you so much, Gia, for having me on your show.
I love it.
I'm glad I'm here.
Well, Jay is with us to talk about this very special topic, cannabis as a creative tool. I don't think there could be a more boring title for a more fun show, but maybe it'll evolve as we go. But so for those of you joining and returning, the vision for this show is to provide global access, awareness, and education for cannabis. And this show is about truth and clarity in cannabis, and it's about fun and transparency. So this show is going to be all about how cannabis has been a very important creative tool. We're going to talk about how it can open up your mind and generate creative ideas, not just for comedians, right, Jay? But
exactly. Entertainment in general.
Correct. Entertainment in general. And we're going to talk about flow state, cannabis and laughter. Yeah. So, Jay, let's jump right in because we only have a little bit of time. Just a quick background, your bio.
Well, yeah, I'm actually born and raised in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
You're the one.
Yeah, this is my home. I love this city. Became a comedian at the age of 19.
Wait, why? What was it 19 where you're like, I'm going to do this?
Honestly, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was let me back up a little bit. So I went to the military first, and I did my basic training. I was reserves. I don't know if you count that or not. I was a weekend warrior.
I count it, but I count it.
But I went to basic training, and when I came back from my basic training, I had a girlfriend at the time. We was laying down one day. We was just cracking jokes with each other, and she was just like, you are just so funny. Have you ever tried to do stand-up comedy? I was like, I thought about it, but I never, I used to watch Eddie Murphy Raw all the time as a kid.
Roll Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah. So, we were just having that conversation. I was like, you know what? Let me go to an open mic one day.
Really?
And so I just wrote some material. I went to this open mic and I bombed so bad.
Of course you did.
I thought the jokes were hilarious, but I didn't know how to write a joke. I was just doing
you just thought
what
you
I
were
knew.
a funny guy.
I thought I was a funny guy.
Wow.
So I bombed that first night, and it was just something that was inside of me. I was just like, you know what? I got to try this again. I got to see if I can do this.
Yeah.
And I went back to the drawing board, wrote some more jokes. Then I went out probably like 2 weeks later, I believe.
Okay.
And
at 19?
19.
Yes.
So I felt I felt that laughter. I got that laughter from that one joke.
That first one.
I fell in love.
Wow.
I fell in love, but I was a bellman at the Mandalay Bay.
Oh, nice.
So I was, doing that job, that bellman job by day, and at night I was going to open mics, just working on my craft.
Wow.
And, probably 5 years into it, I was just like, you know what? This is what I really want to do with my life.
Wow.
I'm going to get stuck. I used to always talk to the older guys, all the older bellmen, like 60, 70 years old. Some of them still doing that job,
Sure.
And they used to even tell me, Jay, don't get stuck here. I've been to your shows.
Wow.
You have some talent. Get out of here. And I
really
always
cool.
just kept that in the back of my mind, and I just decided to jump out there one day, and it worked out for me. So, and they thank me. They like, Jay, listen, man, I'm so proud of you out there living your dream. I got to work every single day, and you get to travel all the time and go out there and meet people. Yeah, so I'm just glad that I had those people in my life to tell me, hey, man, you got that talent, man, get out of here.
You needed that.
I did need that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I hijacked your story. So you started doing comedy at 19.
Yes. So I quit my job, and then I got a TV show called Who's Got Jokes. It was a comedy competition hosted by Bill Bellamy.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of adversity that I had to go through during the taping because, we taped 3 different days. The preliminary round is when I lost my father. My father had passed away from a heart attack. So I didn't know if I was going to do the show or not. My family needed me. So I ended up doing the show. and I got a standing ovation. I killed it. You know, I was one of the best.
Why do you think that was? Not just because you were funny. Do you feel like it
was destined for me to happen?
Yeah.
My father was definitely with me that night.
Love stories like that.
That whole week that I was taping, I know this is what he wanted me to do.
I think he's right here right now.
Definitely.
I think he's right here in the studio wearing a red
tracksuit.
That's awesome.
But so the preliminary round was the day he passed away. The next time that we shot was the semifinals, and that was the day of his wake. And then
Bring it.
The day that we shot the finals was the day of his funeral.
Come on.
So the whole week I'm on an emotional roller coaster.
That's not easy. And you were how old? 23, 4?
I was, around that 24.
I mean, that's a kid.
Yeah. That's how I knew, because I got through that, and that was like the hardest thing in my life
and
at the time.
And you were winning, not just got through.
Yeah. I was like going out there and really performing and to the best, but I was the best one there, you know?
Wow. I did not know this was also a show about overcoming adversity. And, well, real quick, was Cannabis a part of that early time?
Not that time. I wasn't smoking
you were just regular writing.
Yeah, well, you know, I wasn't even drinking going on stage either, because a comedian told me never use alcohol or any substance as a crutch. So I always kept that in my mind. Further on in my career, I started smoking weed going on stage, you know, and it just enhanced what I was doing, you know. I had to learn that. So I won that show. I got my own comedy special on TV One, the network TV One. And then I started to go on the road with Bill Bellamy. He saw my talent. He was like, yo, I got to bring you on the road with me. Since then, I've shot a couple of specials. I just finished shooting another special. I shot that in December. It's called That Don't Go Together. It's coming out real soon.
So. I love the YouTube. That don't go together. I'm so, you're right.
I have the YouTube and the Instagram show called That Don't Go Together.
That's
now
awesome.
I actually have a new comedy special that I entitled That Don't Go Together. So
what made you think of That Don't Go Together?
You know what's funny is I did a video on Instagram, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, man, that don't go together. And then someone in my comments was like, yo, you said that don't go together here. That was hilarious. I was like,
yeah.
So let me try that. So I just started saying that don't go together, and I just saw the reaction of people, and I was like, I'm on to something here.
You really are. Yeah, I've seen them come through, and I'm like, he's right. That does not go together. Well done.
So that's how that came to be, yeah.
You know, it's fun to meet people when, like, life started, you just knew early. I think that's cool, because so many people probably know, but they push it away, because you went through, this is not an easy thing being a comedian. Like, it's not like you get a paycheck and benefits, and done, man.
Yeah.
You got a family. You do.
Hustle,
yeah. What about performance now? What's the COVID deal? I went to a comedy show in a car.
You did? Oh, the drive-through.
Yeah, that was happening months ago.
I didn't go to that, but
I honked. I gave a lot of courtesy honks because I know they needed some feedback.
Honking is not the same as laughing.
It's
not the same. You know,
I tried.
I've done a couple of those Zoom shows.
Yeah.
I hate them.
It's hard. There's no energy, right?
Yeah, it's no energy. So it's like you can't get that feedback. Right. You see people, you see them laughing, but you don't hear it. I just don't like to do it.
It's not preferred, right?
I just don't want to do it. You know, like I've turned down a lot of them.
Now for a quick word from our sponsors. From the chief lobbyist of Matos Consulting, Jay is spearheading a new bill for consumption lounges. Jay is passionate about alternative places to consume cannabis, so our city and the Strip can remain family-friendly.
Now, you were just traveling. Were you performing live then?
Yeah, I was just in Toledo. I did the Funny Bone.
What's it like? What's it feel like now with the mask? Like, you can't see the faces.
Yeah, well, it's different for each state that you go to, because their quarantine, their laws are different, like how their governor is governing that state. But in Toledo, you can only have half the capacity. So the club holds like 300, and we had only 150 people in there.
Okay.
And then everybody's just spaced out, social distancing.
Do you feel that energy with the spaces?
I still feel the energy. Is not that big roar that you're used to getting, but you still hear the laughter, and you can still see people having a good time,
That's nice. Yeah.
And then they have like the whole plexiglass up, right in front of the stage.
No way.
Yeah. So
was there a bunch of like spit marks at the end of like the stuff that you don't realize?
I'm sure I had a lot of spit marks
That's
on
what I'm saying. Like, you don't realize how many people
y'all gotta wipe this down a little bit.
So that's good. You're getting out
I'm just happy to have live comedy back, because I sat at my house for like 7 months straight, and I was just missing comedy. I couldn't go anywhere. So it was torment for me. So we just trying to move forward during this whole pandemic era.
Yeah. Is the comedy and cocktails?
So right now we're still trying to put that back together.
Okay, good.
That was for those of you that has not heard about comedy and cocktails, it was this huge comedy show that I produced here in Las Vegas. And Gia, I want to appreciate you for doing the show. You did it.
It's so much fun.
We had an amazing time when you did the show.
Thank you.
And we're trying to bring it back right now. We're in talks of bringing it back. And
Good
Hopefully
for you.
we have it back before.
It'll be back better. Well, let's talk about weed.
Let's talk about it. I love weed.
Let's go. Well, what's your journey to cannabis?
My wife actually started me to smoking weed, actually, because
Wow.
I have insomnia. I suffer from insomnia at times, and I just have trouble sleeping. She was like, "You
That
ever try
sucks.
marijuana?" You know, because
Marijuana?
my mind is just spinning all the time. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So sometimes I do have trouble sleeping, so I hit the blunt a little bit. You know, and
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, let me go to bed."
I'd like to point out, not many people use a blunt for sleep.
I'm a blunt smoker.
That's awesome.
I like the blunt high. Like, it's different highs for me.
Really?
You know?
What's it feel like?
For me, it's more, I feel more creative, more in the zone, more happy. I feel happier.
Huh.
Like, I feel like it takes, like if I hit like papers,
Yeah.
I feel like it takes a little longer for me to get high.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I have to smoke a
get
lot
it.
more
I
for
get
me to
it.
get high.
Okay.
And the edibles, I just had a different experience with the edibles. Like I thought I was going to die when we hit the edible one time.
Ray, we found it because I thought I was the only person
Yeah.
on this show talking about fear of death
Yeah.
because it gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like for anyone
really thought-
listening, it always passes. It's super hilarious after. But you can't let one time turn you off of the
Shoot,
whole.
when you think you're going to die, y'all, one time is all you need.
Dude, I went to the ER. Don't tell me about
You did?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
So was it
trump
like
you.
a brownie or something? What'd you have?
I just smoked too much and I had alcohol. It was just too much THC. Too much.
Wow. I didn't even know you could have too much THC. I didn't.
Now you know. Too much THC. It makes you, it just tricks on you. Yeah.
I smoked a lot of weed before, like in one day. I never felt like, oh my God, I had too much THC. I never felt
Well, and
that way.
there's a couple of reasons that can happen. Well, that's a whole nother topic. But you didn't smoke it the whole time? It was your wife?
So my wife is crazy because she doesn't even smoke now. Like we had this phase where she, we both was just smoking together.
Yeah.
But she
Pre-kids?
Oh yeah, pre-kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pre.
But she stopped a long time, probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
And then I smoked one time and went on stage. And I felt like that was one of the best sets that I had, So I'm like, this kind of
Let's
feels
talk
good.
about that.
Yeah.
So you smoked a blunt before a set.
Mhm.
Were you nervous though? Like that you would forget things or that you're like,
No, not forget things.
that's just me.
It's just something. It's just, I never see with weed. I never feel like I forget things. I still feel like that I'm sharp, especially on stage. I'm still sharp with everything. I still remember my material.
You didn't go right into before stage then. You started dabbling more around around day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, just smoking I just started smoking every single day, and then that's how it started. And then, like I said, went on stage one time, smoked. I just felt like I felt invincible a little bit, I felt
Really?
like, oh my God, I'm the best comedian ever. I had that confidence. I felt like I was doing crowd work and everything. I felt like everything was just flowing. I was just like, wow, this is a nice feeling. So I just started smoking before I write, and I felt more creative, and
Okay.
it just became something that I like to do,
Do you smoke before all shows?
I do now, yeah.
You do now.
I
Do you always get the flow? Do you always feel
I
like,
I still
do this happens? Is it
Yeah.
kind of a predictable routine for you now?
Yeah, but I do feel like most of that is just who I am as a comedian. It's not
Yeah.
like it's the weed that's making
No,
me.
no, no.
But I just feel a little bit more confident going on stage,
Yeah.
and I feel a little bit more energetic and creative when I'm on stage.
Yeah. Would you also say you just feel out of your own way and that's who you really are?
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
That's the best way to sum it
That's
up.
what I do. That's what I do. Yeah, because cannabis doesn't make you anything. It's really like it opens the door and you jump in.
It enhances who you really are. That's what it does.
Always say that.
Was it George Carlin said doorways to perception?
Oh.
You ever heard that?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for cannabis?
Yeah.
Wow, that's profound.
Yeah.
I never really unpacked it.
Yeah, right.
And we ain't gonna.
But that's interesting, though, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
This entertainment piece is really a huge component to it. And you're like complete living proof that like you found what works for you. You like sativa.
Yeah.
So you kind of curated that
Mhm.
and using it intentionally because that's the other. What prevents us from spinning out is number one is conscious use of it and knowing that the setting we're in, like it's okay to let it rip. Like it's
Yeah.
okay to be my true self.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like my true self when I'm smoking weed. Like I feel like I can.
love that.
I don't care. I'm not. I don't feel like people judging me. I just feel like I'm just
Yeah.
out there being me, and who cares
Yeah.
what you think.
I love that. And so tell me about your writing process.
My writing process. I'm not one of those guys that just sit down. So okay, I'm just going to write for 2 hours, and like I'm not that
I
type of
totally
guy.
had that
yeah.
question in my head. Are you that guy? Yeah. I
No.
didn't. Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I like to go have conversations with people, just everyday conversations, and go out to the mall or go to a restaurant and just observe, you know?
Really?
Yeah. And you just, you know, when you start talking to people, like I'll go to a bar and just sit there and just talk to the bartender and just see where, you know, where he's from and something, you know, ask him questions about his life. And something comes up, something funny will come up. He might have a funny story. And I'd be like, you know what? I could use that in a joke.
I love that. They write themselves.
That's
if
my
you're
process.
an observer. Yeah.
I write on stage a lot too.
Really?
Like I do a lot of improv when I perform.
Sure.
It's like I like to talk to the audience and
I
know,
know,
feel
I've
the
seen
crowd
you.
out. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like so much stuff will come from the audience and I'll think of so much stuff, you know, while
Do you
I'm talking.
record all your sets then
I
and
do.
go back and
I do.
What is that process for people who aren't comedians and don't know, like, how do you craft a set?
So when you crafting this, it depends on what you're doing it for. So like if I'm doing a TV set, it's a little different.
Oh,
than,
sure. Let's talk about a regular in front of people.
Yeah, in front of people. So what I'll do, I have like little bullet points of where I want to go, what I want to say.
Yeah.
But it kind of always come out differently for me. You know, I might I might say, okay, I want to do this joke first, this joke second, this joke third. And then sometimes I'll just go out, you know, on the stage and start talking to the audience and all of that is just...
And the cannabis helps, though, so that you don't stick to a script, but you kind of move with the energy of the room. Do you feel the energy of the room?
Definitely.
Do you feel it more with cannabis?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
It's kind of interacting with your flow.
Yeah. I think it's more of the... I think it's the energy of weed that helps me go out in that audience
Makes
and really
you more
get
aware of it, right?
Yeah.
That there is an energy kind of connecting you to the
yes,
room.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
really cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know the extent to which that was really let's say it's a performance enhancer, like, you know, and people
Is
say
it like
that
steroids for athletes?
It's like steroids for athletes, but it's totally legal and you can't lose your job and no one's going to ask you. Okay, I wanted to ask you about have you ever smoked and had a bomb and just bombed?
Yeah, but I wouldn't blame that from smoking. It's just that comes with being a comedian.
Oh, true.
You know, you're
True.
gonna always have bad sets. You never even Kevin Hart to this day, he still bomb on certain shows because you're always taking risk. You're always trying new things.
Yeah.
You know, it's a joke that I probably wrote yesterday that I'm gonna try on stage. It's funny to me, but the audience that I'm using it on is not funny to them. You know, so you know, I would never blame that on the cannabis.
Well, I would. No, I'm not one who can. I can't. It doesn't really work because I have like short-term memory loss, sativa or not, and I'll be in this flow and be like,
"What was I gonna say?"
Lost completely. And I had two experiences. One where I was like, nothing. There was nothing there,
Yeah,
and so. But that also, I was nervous, right?
Yeah.
So I can't really blame the cannabis, but I am.
See,
'Cause
but that's why I'm glad I started my career not smoking or not drinking, not having that substance.
That's the best way.
Yeah, because it's like I always know where to go with my set.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
part
saying?
of your DNA at this point.
Yeah, it's me. It's like it's not the weed, it's not the alcohol. This is who I am. This is me.
They're just like little gateways to help you get to the place.
Performance enhancement.
Yeah,
like
I did an
said.
edible once for a show in Chicago in a room that Mona and I actually had never had a better time. When that kicked in and I went on, the only thing is my mouth was super dry because it was an edible and I was like, pardon me. I was like drinking it like I just came out the Rose Bowl, you know, like, ugh. I was so thirsty. But I also was doing crowd work, which is my favorite. I remember it's just like ping, 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 ping. And I listened to that set over and over. So I had one experience like that.
Right.
But, you know, you're way better at it. So, but I get it. It's addictive. It feels so great.
It feels great
to be in your flow where you're just like, aren't you sometimes hear yourself and go, I'm really funny?
Yeah, I do.
Where you're kind of like your inner voice is like, that was awesome.
I'm a bad boy.
They're loving that one. Yeah.
I'm killing them right now.
Right. You can feel that.
You can feel it. You can see it. You know when you're in your zone. You just know it.
I
It's
love
just,
that.
Yeah.
And we were talking briefly about flow state.
Flow state, yes.
And some people don't know it as an actual thing.
I didn't know what it is now that we talked about it, but I didn't know the term flow state. I was like,
right before Jay
I
and I
heard
were
of
talking about flow
Florida
state. I was like, no.
You talking about the Gators, the Florida State Gators? That's what you talking about?
Oh, gosh.
Gia will be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Can, the world's first microdose THC beverage, is now available in dispensaries all over Nevada. Out of all drinks in 2019, cannabis or not, BevNet recognized Can as the best new beverage. It's only 30 to 35 calories per serving and comes in 3 delicious and award-winning flavors: lemon lavender, blood orange cardamom, and grapefruit rosemary. More information and where to buy your 6-pack of Can is available at our website, drinkcan.com. That's with 2 N's, drinkcan.com.
So flow state is an actual, so there's a book called Stealing Fire by Jamie Kotler and Stephen Wheel. I got
to pick that up.
Stealing Fire is really good. And there's this whole, they research, there's a whole flow state research. And I read the work, and there's a book called Becoming Superman. And it's about how do we hack, or no, not hack, but what is it that goes on when those people are in those states of like, just going and flowing. Athletes, runners, comedians, writers, artists, you name it. Even regular people can be in flow doing regular tasks like gardening or things like that. So people listening, it's like, well, I'm not one of those. Can I still achieve it?
Yeah.
You can. And so through that, my study of the flow state, what I came to realize is you can hack into it.
I agree.
And so in that state, they say there's 5 neurotransmitters. Those are those chemicals in your brain that are all elevated at the same time. And that's norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, anandamide, and oxytocin. All that to say that those are the things that make you feel accomplished, good, and strong, and powerful, invincible. And those are when they tested these athletes and so forth, that's what's elevated. So you can hack into it by taking like a 20-minute cardio run, like you get your heart rate going, then you drink a cup of coffee, and then you smoke. And I think people who are really living in flow, they do it automatically.
Yeah.
Like Bob Marley we know he smoked, but he used to run. So when you combine those two, probably drinking coffee just as
I'm a runner, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
I like to smoke a blunt and then go run 3 miles.
And then let's say you did that in the morning, came home, had some coffee.
Well, I'm not a coffee drinker, but
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Any type of thing like a beverage. So
tea or something,
something to think about is flow state is a real thing. And if you wanted to take it even further and try hacking into it to achieve different levels, it's a fun experiment.
I definitely think that I know how to tap into my flow state on stage. Like there's been so many times that I'm just on stage and just not even thinking about what's going on, and I'm just flowing, I'm just going and just killing the room.
Wow.
You know?
How do you think that flip is switched?
For me, is when I get comfortable on stage. It's like the first 5 minutes is like I'm still trying to feel the audience out and try to, see what's going to make them laugh. Can I do this joke or that joke?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it. But once, that laughter, when you start hearing that laughter and you hear roar, it's just like, oh, I got this. It's like you got the crowd in the palm of your hand. It's like you just start taking wherever you want to go. And it's everything
seen you
is
do
just
that.
yeah.
I love that.
So it's like I definitely know what you're talking about, that flow state. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats for living that and being in that. Yeah. You've been hacking into flow state. You're using it consciously to enhance your craft.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of people like they just smoke to get high and not consciously aware of how it's affecting. I don't judge either way.
Yeah.
So when
but a lot of them too is nervousness. A lot of them will still, have that fear of going on stage and going in front of a crowd. So a lot of them will smoke just to kind of get over that fear.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's not why I smoke weed on stage.
Right.
But a lot of comedians still have that fear.
I mean,
and it's crazy.
It's terrifying. Do you ever get scared still?
No.
Really?
I don't get scared. I feel like I have jitters because I want to do well,
it's
but
like
never
the
afraid.
Steph Curry jitters, like.
Yeah, it's like I know what I'm capable of on stage. I've been doing it so long now. It's like I know I'm funny. So I've spent my life doing this.
How many years now has it been?
Almost 17 years now.
Wow.
17. So it's like I've been around the world doing this. I've performed in front of the Prince of Saudi Arabia doing this.
No way. Stop it. Tell me about that.
So it's this place in
gosh.
Africa. It's right off the coast of Africa. It's a place called Seychelles. And one of the princes of Saudi Arabia, he owns a compound there. So he loves comedy. So he fly comedians there for like 3 days to his compound, take care of everything, and just have a big comedy show.
I feel like you're making this all up.
No,
I love it.
I swear to God.
So you got invited?
Yes, I got invited. I went, and I had a great time. It was a room full of women. It was all his women, his
really?
girls, and all his concubines or whatever you want to
call them.
What do they call
them? I don't even know.
Whatever, but I had a great time.
That has to be one of the coolest experiences.
It was the best. It's like I want to go back. I feel like a king. I really
Tell me
did.
more about it. Like
it's when they say welcome to paradise, like that's really what paradise looks like. It looked like heaven on earth. Seychelles is such a beautiful place. I had when I walked into my room, I had like the biggest suite canopy over my bed.
Like you would see in a movie.
Yes, it was just.
Were there like a butler and a maid? And
I had all of that. I had a butler, I had a maid. As soon as I got there, I had a bunch of bottles of liquor there just waiting for me. Of course. Marijuana all over the place.
Really? That's amazing that you had that experience.
It was one of the best. But
I'm just sitting here visualizing like a genie in a bottle. That's really awesome.
But I've gotten the chance just from comedy, just from my craft, to being who I am. It's taken me so many places. I got a chance to entertain the troops. I got a chance to go to Iraq. And, I've been around. Hasn't really been a place in the United States that I haven't been. I've been around this country.
Yeah.
I've been to Germany. I've been everywhere just off my gift of comedy.
I love that. What's your advice for someone who's kind of like, I always wanted to try stand up and
I would say try it, but in order to be successful, you got to love it. You got to love the
Like
art
anything.
of it. Yeah.
Like anything.
It's like you got to do your homework. You got to know the greats that came before you. You got to study those people. You have to learn how to take your off stage funny and put it on stage.
Okay.
You know, it's one thing of making your friends laugh. Those people know you. They know your personality. They know who you are.
Yeah.
But it's a whole different level making
Sure.
complete strangers laugh. Especially like you go into, you know, some of these cities, there's people still racist and stuff, you know, but
Sure.
they come to a comedy show and you got to make them laugh. You got to make them understand where you come from. You got to make them get it. You know,
It's a really tough job.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But, you know, once you learn how to do it, once you
love
learn
it.
the art form,
Yeah.
you know, that's when you can become great at it. I would say, you know, learn the art form if you really want to do it. You have to love it because it's going to be a lot of, you know, dark days, you know.
Yeah.
I still have times where, you know, I get passed over for certain things, you know.
Of course.
You know, it plays on your mental, you know. You're like, man, I know I'm better than this person. How come this person got this and I didn't? You know, so you always gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's a tough game, but if you love it, you know, it could be great to you.
Yeah, I love that. What's next then, Jay? You've done a lot of stages, international and whatnot. So what's next for you that you want to do?
You know, I like I said, I've been producing the whole comedy and cocktail,
Yeah.
so I love, you know, putting my own shows out. I want to own a comedy club one day. That's another thing that I'm
Here
wanting.
or
Here
elsewhere?
in Vegas. Yeah, it's got to be here.
You
know, I'm
love-
gonna expand also, but it's got to
Or
start here in
starts here,
Vegas.
yeah.
'Cause this is my home.
Can I get on stage again?
Of course,
Thank
of course. You know, you always got
I'm
a
working
place.
on my craft.
You always got a place on my stage.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you. Thank you. Jay, for more information, where can people find you?
My website, www.jayreidlive.com.
And that's REID.
It's JAYREID live.com. If you want to see my stuff on Instagram at comedian Jay Reid, you know, my YouTube, you know, I'm still doing that. So
I hope people have paper and pen right now.
yeah.
Simplest way? What's the fastest
website, because you can get all those other
There you go.
avenues. So
And we'll put it in-
www.jayreidlive.com,
Okay.
jayreidlive.com.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
quick question. What else are you passionate about in your life right now?
My family, you know,
Yeah?
I just started a business for my kids.
Wow.
Yeah, I started a production company with my kids' name on it because that's something that I want to build up and pass down to them, so they
so
always
cool.
have something.
Yep.
You know, so that's what I've been working on since the
What's
pandemic.
it called?
Jadon Entertainment. That's
Oh.
my two kids for
Cool.
first two letters of their name.
Got it.
That's what I've been working on for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still passionate about doing movies and stuff. I did one movie back in the day, 21. You don't know if you ever saw that movie with Kevin Spacey.
I feel like I have.
Yeah, about the MIT students
I
going
love
to
that movie.
Yeah.
I had a little small part in that.
That's so cool.
But that's still something that I want to get more into is acting and, you know, being a. My dream is to do a movie just like
There it
Eddie
is.
Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh.
Where I'm playing like it's action,
I
but
totally
it's
see
comedy.
you doing that. So if you're
Yeah.
listening right now and you're working on a sketch or a scene or a screenplay rather, yeah, I love that.
I've always loved, you know, those Beverly Hills Cop movies, even like Rush Hour, like how Chris Tucker was funny, but it was just so much action.
I can
because,
totally see that. Jay,
you know,
we just created it right here.
yes.
Is out
It's
to the
gonna
universe.
happen.
Remember that little thing we did right before?
Mhm.
That's why we did it, because
Yes.
energetically we putting it out there.
We
so
putting it out there. I'm
it's
all about
done.
that,
I'm
yeah.
so happy for you. I can't wait to see the film. As a result of this conversation,
Yes.
I will get special access.
Oh, definitely.
It's here.
You're gonna-
Witness.
You're going to be in the movie too.
You know what? This face should not be behind the radio. All right.
Can I play the Jackie Chan role though?
You the Jackie Chan, yeah.
Ray with
I
his
got you, Ray.
sleeper comments coming out of nowhere. I love that.
Ray
said
gonna have
Bruce
4
Lee.
kicks in the movie.
I would have been like,
Kick 4 people.
Let's do it. I got some moves.
I feel like Bruce Lee would have been. Let's go with Bruce Lee, no?
Bruce Lee? Yeah, I can do
I
serious.
like your Fu Manchu.
How'd you waka? You do that? Waka!
I can pull that off.
Oh my God, I love it. Jay, why did you say yes to doing this show?
Because I love you, Gia. That's why.
You know what's cool? I love you too, Jay.
Aw.
I ask people that, and it's a common response. I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm looking for like what you actually showed up today with exactly what I knew, that cannabis, that connection. And it's really lovely to hear about your flow. I've seen it, but I've never really known all that behind
Yeah.
you. So I knew this was something.
I'm
So
pretty interesting, Gia.
You
I'm pretty
really-
interesting person.
you're very humble about it. Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the love, and I have it back for you. So, Jay, what's the next thing that you have in Las Vegas by chance?
The next thing I have in Vegas, I believe I'm at the LA Comedy Club at the Stratosphere.
When?
I believe in like 2 weeks.
It's on the website, though, yeah?
Yeah, it's on my website.
All right.
Yeah.
Any parting words for our listeners out there? Cannabis comedy, creative?
Parting words, I would say, if you're passionate about anything, go hard at it, love the journey. You have to love the journey because it's going to be a rough one. It's going to be some times where you want to quit, you want to give up, but never give up if you're really, really passionate about it, if you really love it. And stay safe, stay sanitized, and always stay laughing. That's what I would say.
Oh, dear friends, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Ray, for being here. Thank you, Jay, so much.
Thank you, Ray.
Ray.
You're going to be in my next movie.
I love it. See? Pre-paved.
The Ray and Jay Show. That's what we're going to call it.
Hey,
Hey, that's pretty good. I like that.
What
The
about
Ray, Jay, and Gia.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank you, Gia.
Thank you. And dear friends, as I always like to say, welcome to the future of cannabis. My name is Gia. I'll be your tour guide.
You have been listening to a paid program sponsored by Get Elevated. Please be advised that the voices and opinions you heard do not necessarily represent the views of KUNV Las Vegas, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, or the Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education.